Right, France Part 2. This one is, I think, if not maybe the best experience I have had in France so far. Upon entering Paris, I had one real goal. That goal was to enter the catacombs. Not the tourist part, the illegal part. The part underground, which I have read so much about, where you have to know someone who knows their way around the winding, pitch black corridors. That was my goal. 5 nights, no idea how I was going to achieve it. I did a lot of research and everything was a dead end, right? So this begins with my first full day in Paris. I spent 8 hours walking around, seeing everything Paris has to offer. All the usual stuff. I walked along the river, back along the river, saw Eiffel Tower, the Louvre, if that's not how you say it probably, and any other big building that you probably heard of, right? Absolutely exhausted. Get back, pass out, day 2 in Paris. This is where things get interesting. So I begin day 2 quite late because I'm quite tired, I'm quite sore, and I begin walking into Paris. Let's see what happens. I'll go see some cool things. Maybe I'll go inside some stuff. No idea what I'm going to do. I stop in a McDonald's maybe 30 minutes down the road to use their Wi-Fi because, why not? And I look on couch surfing events, maybe there's a picnic happening. And one event is trying to get into the Paris catacombs. And that sparked my interest. I check it out. One person has commented underneath, they know how to get in. Another person commented they're interested in going. And the host. So immediately I message the event. No response. I message the host. No response. I message the person saying they're interested. They're going, no, I haven't been able to get through to the host. Let me know. And I'm like, yeah, I'll let you know. And then I message the person who said they know how to get in. Now, I have not got a response from the person who knows how to get in. I check it. Another person says they know how to get in. So I message this person. And this person goes, yep, I know how to get in. I can take you there. Let me know when and where. If you guys can just pay €30 so I can get a pair of boots because the water goes up to your knees. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, never mind. So I was like, yeah, no, sorry, mate. I can't pay you the €30. Don't worry about it. I'll stick with the other guy. And then an hour later, he gets back to me. Don't worry, I know a different entrance. You don't need to pay the €30. Pay 30, pay food and drink and I'll take you under. And I'm thinking, okay. Now we're getting somewhere. I'm a bit suspicious because he's obviously tight on money. I'm wondering what his situation is. Can I trust this dude, right? Is what I'm thinking. He's trying to get anything he can out of me. But anyway, I message him. He's like, alright, at 5:30, we'll go shopping, go food shopping, get alcohol, and that kind of stuff. So, okay, that's in an hour and a half. Takes an hour to walk there. I'm quickly looking around, put on shoes, socks, shirt, shorts, and then grab my drink bottle, head out. I'm walking, and I make it to a big fountain he said to meet at. I'm looking around, I don't see him. I wait 10 minutes, still don't see him. And, okay. So, I'm walking around looking for internet, can't find it, come back, still not there. There's a group dancing, there's some woman doing a clown routine. And then I look to my right, and there's a guy who looks familiar walking up to me. I look at him, he looks at me. We do that look where it's like, yeah, okay, sweet, we're sweet. So shake his hand, how are you, man? He's like, sorry, I'm late. I'm like, no deal, man. No stress. So we begin walking, and I get to know the guy. Turns out he's travelled around, I think it was Thailand and Southeast Asia, with a hammock, sleeping on the beach, living a real travel life, right? And he spent time in Canada, and now he's back in Paris where he lives to save up some more money. So that explains why he was so trying to get as much anything out of me he could, right? So I mean, yeah, fair enough. So we walk around, we're talking, I'm getting to know him, I'm getting to know the idea. He's like, yep. So we could be in there till maybe 12. Yep, sweet. That's cool. Till 12. He's like, alright, so we'll go get food. We'll go get beers so we can hang around the entrance until, drinking beers will blend in. So we go get heaps of snacks, 2 bottles of cheapest wine, and we have some beers as well. So as we're walking to the entrance, we're alongside a park, busy street, busy pedestrian foot traffic, and then he stops. He's texting someone this whole time, and I'm like, oh gee, is he going? Yep, I've got the bait. We're gonna mug him once he's down there. But no, he was just texting his friend, going, all right, we're going down now. If you don't hear from me, think I'm in trouble, that kind of thing. And we stop. He points down at a grate in the ground, a big square manhole. I'm thinking, this right here? There's cars there, there's people literally everywhere. There's like one person watching us, people watching, like, yeah, okay. So he tells me the plan, alright, so he'll lift it up, I'll go down first, he'll hand me the bag, he'll go down under me, and then we'll check it out. I'm like, alright, okay, sure. I'll go down first. Are you going to come down? Do you promise you're coming down as well? You know what I mean? But I wanted to do this. I had my mind set, and I've got to take risk, risk it for the biscuits. So I was going. We look around. He's a bit hesitant. I'm a bit hesitant. But he's like, all right, all we have to do is just make sure there's no police. Okay. And then he just lifts it up. People begin looking at us. I go down. I've committed. No hesitation from this point on. I'm crawling down. Hands me the bag. I don't go all the way down. And then he gets on the ladder. So I go all the way down. He's actually coming with me. And he's struggling to close it, right? He's reaching over, trying to pull it down, but it's just stuck. I'm thinking, okay, oh jeez. Okay, we're going to have to abandon this whole thing, or... But then a stranger begins helping him, and I'm like, oh, how sweet. I love Parisians. We get the gate closed, the grate closed, on top of us, pitch black immediately, right? So, we begin walking around. We go down some stairs, and immediately, Memo is the name of this guy, that's his catacomb name. He's immediately a bit worried, because nothing looks familiar. But, I don't care. I'm having the time of my life. I'm underneath Paris. He's going, I don't think this is the catacombs. And there's massive, big wiring, piles of it going either side of these long, dark tunnels. There's one part where water is up to the knees. And we're walking through. I'm pulling up my shorts, waddling through the water, grabbing onto the wires either end and, shuffling myself over. And he's not convinced this is it. So we walk around a bit more. He knows his way. I've checked. He knows where the exit is, so we're not lost. But we search the entire thing, and there is no entrance. So he's going, we must have missed it. We'll head back and look for it on the way. So what he said, what I need to look out for is I need to look out for dirt on the bottom of a wall and maybe a hole that we can crawl through, and that's the entrance to the catacombs. So we're walking back, we're waddling through that part of deep water. We make it to the exit and he's like, yeah, no, this wasn't it. But I'm beaming. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's so cool. I'm underneath Paris. I can't believe I've done this, So he starts pushing. A stranger helps him lift up the gate again. So friendly around here. We quickly crawl out, close it, and just walk off fast paced, just eyes forward, blank expression, nothing happened. I quick look around, people are just staring at us because we emerged from beneath the ground. I'm thinking, what am I doing with myself? He messages his friend, he's like, nah, what's up? And the friend was like, nah, you gotta go further down. So he's like, okay, my mistake, I'm sorry. And I'm like, don't worry, man, that was sick. So I asked, so how do we know when we get there? How do we know the entrance? And he goes, so the firemen once a week will weld the edges of the grate shut. And then the cataphiles, are they called? The people who go into the catacombs, break it back open and go in. So what we need to look for is a grate that has edges broken, broken, and it needs to be really dirty. So we're walking by, and I look down, I'm like, oh, what about this one here? And he goes, oh, yeah. Okay. No, I think this might be it, hey. And then he goes, I think it's a bit up though. So we keep going, and then, oh, it's there. There's a great, massive amounts of filth, and not filth, just dirt. Extremely dirty, the entire thing around it. Footprints in the dirt. Yeah, nah, this is it, obviously. So we go up. There's really no hesitation this time, you know. He begins, he's like, help me, help me. So we pull up the grate together, look down, barely a drop. I could have probably jumped in, but I didn't, there was a ladder. And he goes in first and he's holding it up. And then I let go of my pressure and begin climbing down. The moment I let go, he begins going, ah, 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 and I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry. So I begin running, I'm like trying to crawl down as fast as I can. I drop in, I help him lower it, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm sorry, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. And immediately, we knew this was it. We turn on the torch, and there's a long, narrow, winding staircase leading into darkness. And yeah, this is it. He knew this one. So, torch is on, and we begin descending into the catacombs. So it's quite a long staircase. He's talking about his experiences there, about the people you meet there, that kind of thing. Talking about, alright, we'll see, sometimes they're friendly, sometimes they might need a fight. I've never fought before, but I've had to run before, and I'm like, okay, ring is off just in case, you know. So we get down, torch is on, and the first thing I see is like a dry clay for the ground. Tunnels about, I don't think I could touch it with my arms outstretched. No, I definitely could. Arms outstretched, I could touch either end. The roof I could jump and touch, covered in graffiti. You could go straight, left, or right. And from this moment, he decided, I can't remember which way he decided to go, and we went. We went down this dark, medieval, I think it was, corridor. And from this point on, if you turn the torch off, you genuinely cannot see a single damn thing. So I wasn't using my torch because I wanted to save battery on my phone. But so I was using his torch, and the pressure was on to keep up with him. I was thinking, if he's much turned off his light, I was stuck down here, I had no way out, but it was blind faith, right? So we're following him, I'm following him, we're winding through corridors, it's getting quite narrow. At some point we're like crouching down, going like this through it. It gets quite slippery at times. My sneakers are super old, have no grip, they're clay on the ground. I'm like shuffling, sliding across. I slipped at one point, the scab's gone though, and that was the beginning of the catacombs. So the catacombs can be broken up into, there's a heap of tall tunnels, heap of small tunnels, and a heap of tunnels where you literally are crawling like this down it, right? If you were to stand up like this on your hands and knees, you could not fit. So I'll break it up. The first room we went to, it was a bit difficult to get there because it's been a long time since he'd been in the catacombs, right? So we were like crossing circles, you know, crawling through tunnels on my hands and knees, absolutely filthy. I'm absolutely filthy at this point. My clothes, I'm, you know, scraping myself along old, you know, clay ground. So along the way, what I noticed is there were carvings at certain corners and intersections, and the carvings had a name, some letters, and another name, and then they had the date carved in, and these were going back as the 1700s. To stand there and brush my fingers across the 1781 carving, to think I am truly back in time right now. I could really picture myself as a peasant in this medieval quarry mine, you know? So I learnt, Memo, who I was with, he's very experienced, so he tells me, explains. So you have the initials of the architect, and then you have the street name almost. Not the above street name, but, you know, the street name of this tunnel. So it was a surreal moment. So we're going back and forth across super slippery ground at some points. It never gets water. I'm never up to my ankles in water, which is very good. But we're walking around. We are very directionless at the moment. not losing faith, but I'm going, oh, it's been a while. Are you sure you know where we are? We're crawling through one tunnel and we're going past this same bit of graffiti constantly. And then he sparks. He goes, oh, I know where it is. So we go, and he teaches me a thing called the catacomb sprint, where one person yells catacomb sprint, and you just fucking sprint. That's it. That's the story. You just sprint until you run out of breath. So he yelled it, and we're barreling down the pitch black straight corridor of the catacombs, going like absolute fucking maniacs. It was hilarious. So he has his epiphany. He's leading us the right way, and then we enter a room. A room. I was like, a room. I have not seen one of those in a long time. And it is just a big circle room, benches carved into it. On one wall, there's a face carved into it, and not a happy looking face. On the opposite side of it, there's a skull carved into it. And then we sit there, pull out the wine, begin drinking. So he's telling me stories about how he'd slept there. He knows the guy who helped build the room. The room was called Anschluss. I forget why. But because he was 40s, I think Memo was. Late 30s. So he began telling stories. There was a massive ladder in the middle of it going further than you could see without light. Going, the tradition is you got to climb up there, touch the roof, come back down. Didn't do it. I'm trying to be safe. But pulled out the wine, began talking, and it set in like I am underneath Paris in these medieval catacombs, right? In the quarry beneath Paris, 20 meters beneath it, 20 feet or meters, one of them. And like, it was surreal. Here I am drinking wine underneath Paris. Second full day in. I'm on my third night in, and I'm already beneath where most French people have never been. It was surreal. We drink the wine, and then he goes, okay, I want to show you more things. So we begin walking, and he goes, there was a man in the 1900s who came to explore the catacombs, right? I forget the name, but he was walking around and he died. His body was not found till 7 years later. So I want to show you the gravestone of that man. I don't think it's where he's buried, but it's where people go to meet. It's like a communal place, you know? So we begin walking, and from this point on, he doesn't get lost. His memory's clicked, he knows where he is, and I have full faith in him. The wine was also setting in a bit. It was very dark. I did not have many senses to go off, but I didn't really realise. But I was still okay. I was just a bit quicker on the turns, you know, a bit more swayed when I turned. And as we approach, we see lights in the far distance and music. So I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm going to meet someone down in the catacombs. First time, big moment. We approach, and there's two young guys, early 20s, sitting there drinking beer. They've got candles across this small room. You could fit 4 people in it, long ways. They've got chairs set up, they've got music. There's a massive gravestone in French. I didn't know what it said, but pretty much commemorating the fella who died there. And we're hanging out there for quite a while. And at this point, Memo is like, alright, at this point we can go back, or we can go get more drinks, more food, and come back down. So we go, alright, we're going to get more food and wine. I'm committed. I'm having fun. So the exit was like 5 minutes away. We crawl up. As he's pushing up, a hand immediately comes, pulls it up, and there's a dude, long blonde hair, smiling at us, helps us out. One of us, you know what I mean? Go back down, rejoin the guys. And then more people start to come. It's starting to get a bit busier. Someone brought their dog down. Someone was walking their dog in the catacombs, right? Cute little fella. And at this point, the 2 original fellas decided to leave. We were like, alright, time to leave too. He said he wanted to show me a German bunker. We begin walking towards the bunker, and he tells me the story. So when the Germans occupied Paris in World War II, the French resistance fled into the catacombs and set up base. So what the Germans did was set up base in the catacombs, right? So we were going to go visit the German bunker, the German base in the catacombs. And he was telling me they had fighting down here, and it was surreal. To be in the catacombs, not being able to see anything ahead of you, minus what the light showed, to be there knowing that someone was in there to kill you, French resistance, German army, that was insane. I could really feel myself in that situation. So to get there, we crawled through a tunnel, and this was my first real tunnel where I'm on my belly kind of scraping myself through. It was insane, The wine was giving me a bit of confidence at this point, and we finally made it. There was a doorway, and leaning against the wall, a massive iron door, one you have to turn, a big thing to enter, rusted on the side. And we walk in, and there's writing on the wall in German, there's paintings and arrows and signs. So I'm thinking, this is historic. This is absolute. Here I am beneath Paris, third night in the World War II German bunkers. There were still World War II toilets rusting where they stood. And we walked around, and I could really feel it felt like I was back in time. Everything was so pristine, minus the floor and the toilets and anything that was left to rust. But the writing on the wall, the paintings, not paintings, but like the signage, the arrows, it was surreal. We walk around for quite a while. I'm a bit more tipsy at this point, and it's an adventure, honestly. I can feel myself there now. It's quite cool at this point. Walking around, getting a few fun photos. And then we explored the bunker. It was quite large and complex, honestly. And people had broken holes in the walls for shortcuts. So we're crawling around a World War II bunker, jumping through holes. It's like a labyrinth. If I read German, I'm sure it would have been a lot easier to find my way out. Memo explained, black means this, red means this, green means this. Those are the arrows you follow. So we spent quite a while down there. It was quite fun. And then as we approached the exit, he's like, all right, time to meet the French resistance bunker. So more winding corridors. The entrance to the bunker, extremely slippery ground, clay. I slipped on it. Yeah, I slipped. I managed to stop it with my hand before anything touched, because if I fell like this, full body, I would have been absolutely soaked in drying clay. So close call for sure. Make it into the French resistance bunker. At this point, I'm getting pretty damn tired. Because the day before, I'd spent 8 hours walking around Paris, and I'd had a bit of wine. So I can't remember too much about that. I think I was more just there for the adventure at this point. Focus was fading. But it was more labyrinth of a bunker, honestly. We finish up with that, and onwards to the final room. At the final room, the exit was there. So on the way there, it's a very long way there, right? He's like, okay, this one is at the bottom, the south of Paris, so it's going to take a long time to get there. Are you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it. So we begin our walk. And I'll have a quick water break because my throat's dry. So it was a few kilometers south. We begin walking, and on the way we bump into a couple people. Nemo chats to them, casual. I don't know what he was saying, it's in French. And one of them was holding a catacomb lantern. Now, a catacomb lantern is a beer can that you slice open like this and stick a candle in the middle. And you have yourself a cheeky little lantern, right? And this fella had boots going up to his waist. He was prepared, long blonde hair, a bit drunk. And he's coming with us now. All right, we've made a friend, you know what I mean? So he speaks just below conversation English, enough to communicate basic with him. And he's with us for the ride. We've got an extra lantern now. We're hanging out, having some wine, sharing drinks and whatever we have. And on the way, we pass another room. There's 4 people hanging out there playing music. And the room, I could have touched it with my hand if I was on my tippy toes. It was wide enough, could have fit maybe 10 people in there, sitting on the benches on the edge. And there was a staircase going up to the roof. And I could touch the top thing of the staircase. So Nemo explains that this room was used to sell stone. How it would be done, is the person selling stone, the merchant, would have his best stone on the top and his worst stone on the bottom, and people would walk through this quarry like it was a marketplace. And that was another historic moment. Here I am beneath Paris, you know? So we hang out there for a bit, and he tells me, once you're here, there's a ritual you gotta go through. Once you exit, you need to go left and follow it all the way. Along that tunnel, there was an art project where people did beautiful paintings along the whole thing. And every time you come down here, every new person, you need to walk down that. And I'm going, I'm okay. And he's like, no, you need to go alone. So I checked, and he was like, it's easy. You literally just go that way. 5 minutes, you see paintings. Keep going, you hit a wall, come right back. You cannot get lost. So I grab his torch and I set off on my own in the dark. Here I am on my own, walking across a tunnel, graffiti, clay on the ground, slippery, pitch black, pitch quiet. And then I start seeing paintings. And it's not graffiti paintings, it's quite well done paintings. The wall is littered with them. You have scenery, you have, cool paintings, honestly. I don't understand why it was such a ritual. Maybe you had to be on drugs to really feel the emotion behind it, like I assume a lot of them would have been. But I make it to the end, make it back, and he pulls out the vodka, pours it with peach juice, and it was the most disgusting shit I've ever tasted. So it was hard to keep drinking at this point, and I was absolutely exhausted. Absolutely exhausted. I am like this in my seat, falling asleep, pat on the back. Oh, I'm awake, don't worry about me. So he's going, all right, we'll go to the last room and then you can sleep there, I promise you. So we get up and going, the three of us. I never actually learnt this blonde-haired dude's name. And on the way, we enter another crawl space, very tight crawl space, shimmying, wiggling through it, crawling through. And there's another room, and it's got a little Christmas tree in the middle of it. We hang around there for a bit. I'm trying not to fall asleep. It's a really low room. You're like crouching the entire time you're in it. Set up candles around, have a chat. The atmosphere was insane. And we begin moving. There's another tunnel. The tunnels are all the same. The only difference between them is the height and the width. So we're crawling, we're walking, and then we hear music, and there is a big room. A big room with pillars and sectioned off parts. I have no idea what it was, but there was candles set up across the whole thing. There was some shaved dude blasting music. He looked like a Nazi, honestly. Blasting some kind of heavy metal music kind of thing. There was a hammock set up. There was candles. There was people sitting around talking. And we approached them and we're like, oh, hell yeah, man. What's up? And we're talking. One of the guys has quite good English. And they offer us food. They've got like salami thing. And he's talking to me and he's so impressed. He's like, Australian. Oh, wow. And then he's talking to me. He's talking about Australia. He's like, underneath Paris. This is crazy. And I tell him, no matter where in the world you are, there's always an Australian. Underneath Paris, we're going to train in the Bulgarian mountains, right? And so I see the hammock and I'm like, you don't mind if I have a quick nap, do you? And he's like, no, of course. The owner of the hammock, which was not the guy who was interested that I was Australian. So I lie in the hammock. And then the guy, he comes over and he's still asking me about Australia, talking to me. I'm trying my best to be polite, but holy motherfucker, am I exhausted lying down in this hammock. And he would not leave. He's talking about beaches, do you surf, kangaroos. Like, I felt so bad because he was such a cool dude and I really wanted to answer his questions, but I did not have the strength in me. And then he must have got the idea because I couldn't formulate more than 5 words a sentence. Turns around and I just passed out. And the blonde guy taps me. I'm up. He's drunk as fuck. He probably bumped into me rather. So, I wake up. don't know how long the nap was. My phone is on like 10% at this point. I didn't know when I fell asleep, when I woke up. But I get out of the hammock. There's only 2 people left, the guy who was interested and the Nazi-looking dude blasting music. And at this point, I'm ready to go. Memo, he's doing his thing. The drunk dude's running around like a menace, And then We pack up our things, and there's a ladder right in that room. We say goodbye. I say goodbye to the fella interested. The Nazi-looking fella's left already. And we begin climbing up the ladder, and I'm told, alright, it's quite a tall ladder. If you fall, you'll probably break your legs. So are you okay with this? Have you got strength? I'm like, yeah, man. And it wasn't difficult at all. I think he was just being careful. And as we're crawling up the ladder, there's a tunnel, but like as wide as my body. And that's where we were going in. So I'm on the top of a massive drop on a ladder, and I begin shimmying through a tunnel as wide as my shoulders and as tall as my chest to my back. And at this point, I'm absolutely filthy and exhausted, shimmying through it, come up to another ladder, and at this point, the blonde guy, he's already rushed ahead of us. I don't know where he is. Memo's above me, kicking his dirt into my face as I look up. And I make it up. It's daylight, no cars on the street. It's like 6 in the morning, I think. I've got maybe 7% charge. And yeah, so I'm trying to talk. Blonde dude's passed out. The manhole has been like pushed over the entrance. Blonde dude's passed out, lying on the ground. Memo's there. I can't really talk to him. I mean, I'm trying, but he's not really responsive. He's like doing his thing. We're all tired and drunk, I assume. So I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll leave. I'm like, alright, I'm leaving now. No response. Alright, bye guys. No response. Wave bye. No response. So I am absolutely exhausted. I'm a bit hungover. I'm filthy as all hell. And I've got about 5.5 kilometers to get home. And I have never felt more homeless in my life. My phone is dwindling. I'm looking at the map. I need the map to get back. God. I do the big walk. I cross the river. And then I reach Place de la Nation, which is 10 minutes away, but it's a massive roundabout with so many exits. And my phone dies. And I'm thinking, oh my God. So close yet so far. Okay. I vaguely know my way. I think I know which way it is. I know like a shop that I need to turn at. So I'm walking around, I'm trying to find it. I go down an exit of the roundabout. 10 minutes, no, this isn't it. I go back, I'm tired, I'm filthy. Another exit, oh, this is it. I make it back. I leave my shoes outside because they're wet and covered in drying clay. My entire body, my entire clothing is absolutely filthy. I drop it, I shower, I pass out on the bed, which I'm sitting on now. Wake up, I feel super sick. I'm trying to tell Amandine about my experience. I'm extremely energetic. I start talking too much, I want to spew. I have something to eat, I feel better. And that was the catacombs. Absolutely surreal experience. I walked through history. World War II bunkers, the grave of the man who was lost there for 7 years, meeting so many people, brushing my hand on 18th century carvings. Most people I've talked to, except for one guy I think, has never been into the catacombs. And for an Australian on their third night in Paris to go down, I'm so grateful, and it is just so surreal. So that ends the catacomb story. For the rest of Paris, I didn't do much else worth the story. I saw it, walked around, abandoned train track. It's a popular destination. But from there, it was on to Poitiers to see Roman and her family, which I met in Thailand. The entire reason I was in France. So after that, I came back to Paris, stayed with Amandine's family, stayed in Angers, came back here, and now I'm leaving for Georgia tomorrow. So next part will be Poitiers. After that will be my experience living in a French village, 200 people. After that, my life in Angers. And then that'll end my French stories.